Happy Thursday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com. Welcome to the Road to Millions on this Thursday, October 12th. We're going to go over a couple of Thursday night best bets. We do have our official best bet that is up at WagerTalk.com right now, as well as our NCAA team total, 5-1 this year on team totals. We're going to do our fade of the day, sleeper of the day, and our stat of the day. But you guys know we always like to start with some positive vibes from the audience. NHL season started. NBA season is right around. Steve, I do believe you have started the process of writing NBA preview articles. That's kind of like that's the official start of the season when we start writing preview articles and team previews. So
yep, for sure.
Let's take a look at some of your positive win, guys. And while you're watching this, please hit the like button on the video and post in the comments. Post your wins. Tell me how your Road to Millions is doing. Tell me some good stuff. Always like to get fueled by some good things while we're recording these. Little Eddie Goat likes the Sky Moore pick. Going to be a big game for Pacheco. Yeah, last week Pacheco's rushing was 56.5. This week it's 75.5. That's how little the books think of the Broncos. Steve, we never see 20-yard jumps in rushing props from week to week. It doesn't happen.
Not in 1 week, but this Broncos defense has been like historically bad against running backs, and we'll touch on that probably a couple times during the show.
Yeah. John says, crazy thing about Gretzky era in that era, you were allowed to maul players, holding, clutching, slashing. These days, if you touch a stick or jersey, it's a penalty. I noticed last night, and I heard some commentators talk about that. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of penalty shots this year. Apparently, that was a point of emphasis. And they called a softy last night. I mean, soft. So, just expect a few extra penalty shots on some of these. The thinking behind it apparently is they're exciting and make for great highlights and TikToks and Instagrams and they're right. They're totally right. They showed the one last night. Nobody was sitting down in their seats when there's a penalty shot. Man, it's crazy.
It is exciting, but be careful what you wish for. Because
yeah. Dean, how did you guys get your start? My 18-year-old is very interested in this. Did you have any schooling? So, Dean, hit me up on Twitter at Bump Sports. We can DM about this. I'll also put my email in there. Honestly, start putting out content. That's the only way you can get started. People have to see you. Just start a Twitter account, start a podcast. That's how I got my start. Was I started a podcast. I met Steve on Twitter. Bang. But you can't get started unless there's content out there on you. So be consistent with it. Just put yourself completely 100% out there. That's the best way to start. So, Steve, probably happy Boston Bruins hockey is back to kill the Patriots bleeding. Is this true in the Boston area? Are the Celtics and the Bruins now kind of the talk of the town?
For now, and until the Patriots and the Red Sox come back around, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's a lot of excitement around the Bruins and Celtics this season. They both have both have great chances to be in the mix. But man, this is a downtime to be a Patriots fan for sure. But you knew this was going to have to come at some point or another. We couldn't just no organization is just going to keep winning like that forever. So
no, but it is awesome that you like our football team is bad. We'll just turn to our our championship caliber hockey and basketball team. So
it is awesome. There is always one of the teams that are at least one or two of the teams in the mix, which is it's great to be a sports fan with that going on.
And kind of happy days you don't get to watch Mookie Betts kill it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Early exit for the Dodgers, unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, Thursday, October 12th plays. So we have a Thursday night football best bet that is up only $9, and our college football best bet that is up. That is $9. NFL season continues to roll along, and college football, man, 5-1. How many plays do we need each week, Steve?
Only need one. Only takes one, man.
Only need one play in college football.
Back to our winning ways, too. So.
Yep. So grab those up at WagerTalk. There is a promo code. Just use it on Sunday. It's AL10, AL10, $10 off one-day pass on Sunday. That's where our 5% play will be. So just we'll obviously remind you about it on Sunday, but that's the promo code for this week in the special. But just use it on Sunday. That's when the most plays will be in. Do you want to? Let's go over our Thursday night best bets, and then we'll talk a little bit about AJ Dillon. So I'll let you go first. Isaiah Pacheco, TD, minus 65. I don't know, Steve. Is this here? I'm gonna prop for this. I mean, let's be honest. Is this incoming square play? You're going Pacheco. You're going Pacheco to score a touchdown against the Broncos. Low hanging fruit.
It is a square play, but and with a lot of juice too. And I normally wouldn't suggest a play like that, but I feel like it's worth the juice. He scored in the last 3 games. The Broncos they've given up the most touchdowns to opposing running backs with 12 total, 8 on the ground, 4 through the air. I mean, everyone's scoring on these guys, and I just expect the Chiefs to be leading late, running the ball late. Pacheco's going to have plenty of chances to score. And, it's low-hanging fruit, but I generally don't do that, but we'll go with that today. Pacheco, touchdown, negative 165. This game, we have a great play in this game for tonight, but this game, admittedly, only has a couple of spots in it that I really love. So
yeah, and I'll just warn everybody, we've been good at this. What's the obvious play tonight that everyone's going to be on the primetime game? I think it's Pacheco rushing total. I think that's going to be the one. Too. And I would just say a move from 56.5 yards to 75.5. I know it's the worst rush defense, is a stunningly high move. I know it's and Steve, how many times we've been good at this. The most obvious primetime play just seems to be a loser, like 75-80% of the time.
Yeah, I do agree with you that it's the Pacheco rushing tonight. Would be Kelsey if he wasn't. He's banged up though, so people are a little hesitant there. But that's a big jump for any line in 1 week. So I'd be careful with that one.
I'm gonna go with Jerry Jeudy over 53.5. I know that this has been a horrific year for Denver, but let me just say garbage time counts, Steve. Garbage time absolutely 100% matters in the prop world and in fantasy. We know this. I heard on the CBS Fantasy Football podcast that if you just take Russell Wilson's fourth quarter numbers and multiply it times 17, he would be on pace to throw for over 6,000 yards. It's just so I'm going to go Jerry Jeudy. He had 81 against Miami, 52 against Chicago, and 50 against the Jets. I think he's finally 100% healthy after the hamstring injury. Courtland Sutton's numbers have kind of gone down. Sutton's been the one catching the touchdown passes. Chiefs, middle of the road pass defense. And I think running the ball is going to be like Javonte Williams is back, and now they have this McLaughlin. I almost feel like you'd rather just have one of those guys be the lead back for Denver. I feel like this is just going to be a clunky running game, and in the end, they're just going to have to pass the ball to move it. Actually, Russell Wilson has not been terrible, numbers-wise. He's had some nice games. He didn't have a great one last week, but yeah, give me Jerry Jeudy. I think, and there could be, if they are trying to do a complete rebuild and they sell some guys, this is one of them that's absolutely tradable. Why not throw him some extra targets and boost his stats a little bit? So I'll take Jerry Jeudy over his passing. But yes, by far the best play that we found is up on WagerTalk. So grab that. It's only $9. All right, let's talk AJ Dillon here, Steve. so Trent, book it with Trent this is hilarious. Imagine having AJ Dillon on your fantasy team, and he's up this morning farming. so, all right.
That's so funny. That's awesome.
All right, where do we want to start? We could start with the fact that he literally is in Wisconsin playing a game about farming when you could just walk outside and immediately do what he is actually playing the game of. Where would you where you wanted to start? The hat?
He has his little cowboy hat on. That's so cute. This is the best. Oh my God.
Steve. And you don't want to get sunburnt while you're farming.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh my God, he's just sometimes I don't get these games, man. I used to love video games, Madden, and I tons of different games. I don't play them anymore, but some of these games, I see people power washing their house. They're just spraying down their roof, just menial tasks. You know what I mean? Like I want to do dishes through my through my video gaming system. You know what I mean? And
Meanwhile, there's a
man,
pile of dishes in the kitchen.
yeah, exactly. That you could just knock out and get that same satisfaction, right? But
Oh man.
no, we're gonna power wash our roof through a video game, and man, too bad he can't stack up yards like he does bales of
Yeah,
bales of
right,
hay.
right. I mean, the comments, of course, are just fantastic. I'm just trying to assimilate Wisconsin. He's about that Wisconsin life. I encourage my athletes to play multiple sports. It makes me tougher mentally. I will just a quick story, and then we'll get into more bets. A buddy who who lives in the area said something about, man, what really calms me down is going on YouTube and just listening and watching videos of guys power washing. And we were all like, what? He's like, it's just calming. I was like, this is a thing? Go on YouTube.
Everything's a thing. Everything's a thing, man.
Go on YouTube. This is a real thing that just the sound, it is just really calming to a lot of people. I had no idea. So maybe AJ Dillon, this is just his
set
thing.
place.
So there's AJ Dillon farming. So great stuff. All right, Survivor picks. Steve and I both advanced. Actually, everybody advanced. So we didn't lose anybody off of last week. So make sure you get your Survivor pool picks in. Just leave them in the comment section. And the link to the Survivor spreadsheet will be in the comment section as well. So get your picks in. All right. It is time for Team Total Thursday. This is where Steve and I go over our best team totals. My favorite over is going to be the Giants, believe it or not. And my favorite under, cover your ears, Steve, it's going to be the Patriots. Your favorite over is going to be the Eagles, and your favorite under is the Raiders. I'll go first, and I'll start with my favorite over with the Giants. This Bills defense is so depleted with injuries, and it's not injuries to role players. It's their best players. Broken leg. He's out for the year. Tre'Davious White, Achilles, out for the year. And look what happened. They gave up 25 last week to Jacksonville, who is not scoring a lot. Jacksonville's not exactly piling up the points this year. The Giants actually scored 16 this week. It looks like Daniel Jones is going to be out. Tyrod Taylor, the worst, the one thing that took him down was his own doctor stabbing him in the lung.
Right. Seriously,
he hasn't been bad. I actually think it may help the Giants. No film on Tyrod Taylor. I think they're going to run some different plays. And, I know that the Giants got absolutely slaughtered by Seattle, but don't forget, Daniel Jones threw a pick six on the goal line. Like, on the goal line. If they somehow, run that in, that team total looks different. 14.5, I don't think this Bills defense is anything remotely near what, when you look up their numbers, this is a team that held Miami to 20 points. I just don't think it's the same defense. So I'm going to roll with the Giants over in this one as a that could have been my sleeper play of the day for sure.
Nice low total though.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're going with the Eagles over 23.5. What do you like about it?
Well, they've scored 23 plus in every game. They bottomed out last week with 23, but that was on a cross country flight to LA. The Jets gave up 21 to that Broncos team that we were just talking about being so bad. And now they got some banged up cornerbacks. Darrell Reed missed some time already with a concussion. Sauce Gardner, he should be good to go, I guess, but he's got a banged up knee, so that's dicey as well. The Jets have struggled also with the tight end position, giving up the most touchdowns to opposing tight ends, so we could see some Dallas Goedert action, and I think there's the potential here for the Eagles to score on defense anytime Zach Wilson's the quarterback. There's the potential for that, and at least they'll get set up in some positions where they get a short field. This total feels really low to me. I feel like it should be 24.5, so give me the over with 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
Like it. Steve's going with the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Patriots. So 15, 3, and 0. Those are the point totals the Patriots have scored the last 3 weeks. If you add up the last 3 games, they still haven't hit the over at 19.5. It's just not great with Mac Jones there. And the Raiders, listen, they faced a struggling offense last week. Packers, they held them to 13 points. That was an ugly game to watch. So I think this could be a pretty boring, ugly game. I think you may agree based on your pick for your next pick. So
Yeah.
2 struggling offenses here. So I'll take the Patriots under 19.5. I just don't see where the weapons are. I don't see where the offense comes from. Rinse and repeat, I guess, with what I just said. Same thing with the Raiders here, Steve.
Yeah, we're going to stay right in the same game with the Raiders team that has yet to score more than 17 points yet this season. And until they do, I'm taking the under, especially if it's going to be 22.5, about 5 points higher than they've managed to score so far yet this year. Guess what? It's a Patriots bounce back spot. I know I've been saying that a lot, but I'm expecting them to slow the game here, a little bit of ball control, try to take the pressure off Mac Jones. We know that Belichick is he's familiar with Jimmy Garoppolo, so he's good at shutting down those quarterbacks that he kind of gets in their heads, and he's able to shut them down. We know he's going to try to take away the best option on the Raiders. I'm assuming it'll be Adams, and they try to shut down Jacobs obviously as well. The bottom line here is they haven't scored 17 yet. The Patriots still have a good defense, even though they're banged up, and I know the past 2 scores aren't indicative of that, but until the Raiders manage to score more than 17, I'm taking an under 22.5 every time.
Might as well. I'm thinking long and hard about streaming Jimmy Garoppolo this week because I've been just kind of streaming quarterbacks in my league, and I actually looked at Jimmy Garoppolo, but yeah, I can't. 17 points is the max for the Raiders. Like you can't really depend on the Raiders to score points in that one. So, all right. So my favorite over is the Giants over 14.5. Favorite under Patriots under 19.5. Steve's favorite over is the Eagles 23.5, and his favorite under is the Raiders under 22.5. All right, let's get to the fade of the day. Steve, you're fading the Philadelphia Phillies. You're going to do that with Spencer Strider and the over 17.5 outs props. Talk to us about this one.
So we're looking at Strider completing 6 full innings in this one, which he's done in every game against the Phillies this season. 5 for 5 against. He's been great against the Phillies this season. That includes the postseason start as well. He's 23-11 to this number, to the over on the season. That's a 68% success rate on the year. And he's only given up 8 runs in it's 33 innings against Philly, 8 runs allowed in 33 innings. It's an ERA just above 2, and like I said, he's cleared this number in every single game, and he's really shut down key Philadelphia hitters like Trey Turner's 0 for 17 against him, Nick Castellanos 3 for 21 against him, Schwarber's bad against him, even Harper is a little bit better, but he really controls this Phillies lineup. It's a do or die game here for the Braves, and they had their ace on the mound, so I'm going to be rolling with Strider. You couldn't argue that maybe he gets the quick hook. Obviously it's an elimination game, so if they get into trouble, they're going to want to obviously pull him, but I think they're going to ride with him as long as possible and keep the pen out of the game because he's been so good against the Phillies, and we only need 6 innings here. Like I said, done it 5 for 5 against him on the year, so give me the over.
Love it. Looking at Spencer Strider. We were talking before this baseball playoffs, man. I still can't wrap my head around it. Dodgers just swept, done?
3 games, 6 runs total in those 3 games. We've seen, if the Braves were to lose tonight, that'll be 300 win teams out of it. It would be 4 teams left, only 1 division winner. It'd be 3 wild card teams if the Braves do get eliminated. But yeah, the postseason is just the wild card teams. You get hot at the right time, and it's funny because you look at the Diamondbacks and you're like, oh man, how can you even predict this? They win these games in the postseason, but coming into it, they had lost like their last 4 or 5 regular season games. So it's not like you could go into the postseason and go, oh, let's find the teams ride the hot hands. It would be fade Arizona at that point because they've been cold and they just come into the postseason and they haven't lost yet. So.
I don't like betting on Major League Baseball postseason. That's it right there. Like some of that stuff, like You can give me the whole, well, there's value in the underdogs and everything. You don't expect things like that to happen. And it just
Yeah,
happens all the time in Major League Baseball. Absolutely bizarre. But
especially with the way we, the way we
yeah,
bet MLB baseball. The postseason's like anti the way we bet, the way we've been successful with MLB the past 2 or 3 years.
absolutely. So my sleeper of the day, Josh Downs here in Indianapolis. They love Josh Downs here, and they got his total at 43.5 receiving. So he's gone over in 2 out of 3 games, 2 out of his last 3 games. 6 targets, 6 receptions, 97 yards against Tennessee. And that was with half the game with Gardner Minshew. And I think those two got a pretty good kind of rapport. And Jacksonville, ninth most passing yards allowed this year. So I think we might be getting a little discount on Josh Downs. Pittman gets the majority of the coverage, and he's obviously the number one. But I think Josh Downs is kind of the clear number two. His catch rate is pretty decent. His targets are good enough, and he's got a couple of longer plays. There was one play he made an incredible catch down the seam. So he's got kind of a high ceiling at catching some difficult passes. So he's probably a guy most people don't know about. I actually think he might be a decent little pickup in fantasy leagues, especially if you got deeper rosters. If he's available, go get him, because now they're saying Richardson might be out 8 weeks. That's yeah. Yeah, I wondered, like, that's the thing. When you put guys on IR, it doesn't mean they're coming back after IR. Like, I would actually be surprised if Jefferson comes back after being on IR with that pulled hamstring. And, I think Richardson's kind of out. Like, the whole point of this year was to see how good Anthony Richardson was going to be, and now we don't get to see it. So I have no idea what this Colts team is mentally going to do. But now what you have is a lot of guys playing for next year's contracts. Gardner Minshew gets a chance to showcase himself to teams. Like, seriously, if he has a great run, if you're an NFL team and you think you got a really good roster, that's a guy that you're absolutely going to look at. So I think the next like month or so for the Colts is going to be pretty interesting. But I like Josh Downs. I would pick him up in fantasy
Love
leagues.
it.
Yeah. All right. Stat of the day. Go ahead, Steve, with this one.
The Denver Broncos, Chicago Bears, and Arizona Cardinals are tied for the most receiving touchdowns allowed to opposing running backs with 4. No other team has allowed more than 1. All 3 also rank bottom 10 in running back rushing touchdowns allowed. And we got the Broncos playing tonight. That's why I got the Pacheco touchdown.
Of
Negative
course.
165.
Of course.
Yeah, this one just blew my mind with 3 teams allowing 4, and then no one
Yeah.
else in the league has allowed more than 1. It's just kind of interesting. And you look at the teams that they'll be playing this week. Madison, I mean, I'm not so high on him in that game, but Kyron Williams, circle him for a touchdown
Yeah.
this weekend potentially against Arizona. He's been a touchdown machine, and Arizona's been very susceptible as well as with the Bears and Broncos to opposing running backs.
Absolutely. So there you go. You're fading these. So I'm wearing my Indiana sweatshirt, Steve. I don't know if you saw who they play this week. They play Michigan. They are going to get beat so bad by Michigan. I'm wearing this really because I'm asking for some mercy from Mr. Harbaugh. If you could please not embarrass our guys. Indiana has a terrible football team. Michigan's total for just touchdowns is 4.5.
Wow.
Our team total is 5.5.
That's a good one. That's a great stat, actually.
Will Michigan score more or less touchdowns
Points.
than Indiana scores points?
That's great.
That's how bad it is. So come on, boys. Let's go get them.
Come on, you can put one in the end zone. Let's go.
Man. Yeah, I mean that's it. Can we actually score a touchdown? So, yeah, that's why I'm wearing my Indiana Hoosiers sweatshirt in support of the complete ass whooping that they are getting ready to walk into. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for Road to Millions. Go grab those plays at WagerTalk.com. Leave us a comment. Tell us your win. Tell us what if the Road to Millions is working for you, and hit that like button. Got a jam-packed show on Friday and on Sunday. Should have a pretty solid weekend worth of plays, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Hopefully, we have our first hockey play. It was a parlay from last night to this night. We had our first leg last night. It would be awesome to start off hockey on a 1-0 run and just build that thing up slow, kind of like what we did with college football. So hopefully we recap our first winner tomorrow. So good luck on all your bets, everyone, and we will see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Happy farming, AJ.